Okay. So, hello again. I'm Emma of Emma Wilson Fitness, and this is my business partner in crime, whatever the ant to my deck kind of thing is what we get called. And I was kindly invited by Patricia of Gift of a Wedding to come and do a couple of things really. Last week was an exercise or fitness class, and tonight is a chat. Well, it could be it's a general chat really about the other side of what Emma Wilson Fitness is about, and that is nutrition, health, well-being. It can be weight loss, but it's really about managing you, your body, your behavior, your mindset, your lifestyle, to be happy, to feel happy at a time of life, probably between 35 and 65, where times can get a bit tough during the perimenopause and the menopause, and it's really to just explain a little bit more about it, because it becomes really tricky to, when people ask us what it's about, it becomes really tricky to say. And I'm quite glad that Linda, you dropped by, because we may actually come to you later, so you can probably explain a bit more. But Emma Wilson Fitness is me, myself, and I. And I've been a health and fitness coach for the last 15, 16 years. My Time for Change, which is the health and well-being part of Emma Wilson Fitness, was born from a personal perspective, really. I think people assume that you've always, as a fitness coach, you've always looked like that. You find it easy. You don't have to work as hard. Everything comes naturally. It doesn't. And I haven't always looked and felt like this. And when I started this kind of path 16 years ago, it was great, everything was fine, and then something happened around my kind of early 40s, and I was just finding things really difficult. I was still working out, I was still fit and healthy, but I wasn't able to kind of achieve the same things as I was achieving before. I was getting thicker in places that I didn't want to be thicker, and it didn't felt deserving either. And so I started to look into the way that hormones affect women, and how we eat and how we move can really drastically affect and have massive beneficial and positive impact on actually lots of other things. So I started that from a personal perspective. It'll be coming up 7 years ago, and then clients started to ask me, kind of, what are you doing? What's going on? You're looking very different. And the honest answer was nothing really. I was eating probably more. I was exercising less, and I was feeling better. And so after a couple of years, I thought I was starting to talk to people after class. People were asking me, and I was starting to give everything away, and classes were turning into long kind of consultations after classes. And I thought, I wonder whether or not people would be interested in a bit more. So I did a little chat, and lots of people turned up, and from there my courses and programs began, and that was three and a half years ago, where it became an official program. And then on one of the courses, September 2018, Mindy joined the program. I didn't know Mindy, a bit like Linda here. I don't get to, it's all managed online. It's all people see me every day, but I don't see them. I can see a tiny picture on a phone and a profile, but I don't see them. So Mindy joined the program, and as a result, I'll let Mindy tell her bit. As a result, we, as of literally a year, January the 2nd last year, so pretty much a year, we became business partners, and we kind of work, well, it was originally going to be on My Time for Change together, but very quickly, and I think because of the way things were last year, we kind of worked together on Emma Wilson Fitness and My Time for Change, because we can't separate them. Anyway, so September 2018, I'll let Mindy explain a little bit more about her journey and why she came knocking on my door.
Hi, I'm Mindy. So I joined the program in September 2018 on the back of a recommendation of a friend who was thriving on the program. Wasn't there for weight loss; she was just there for stress management. But had talked to me about how amazing she was feeling. I've yo-yo dieted all my life, and at that point, I was feeling quite. So I had young children, I couldn't keep up with them. I was on a sunbed in Sardinia, I felt like a beached whale, just felt so uncomfortable in my own skin. And so I made the plunge and emailed Emma on the back of what a friend had recommended. And the response I got from Emma sort of cemented straight away I knew this was going to be the right thing somehow. I went on a journey of it was just amazing. So during 2018 to 2019, I lost over 5 stone. I became, well, what I keep saying to everybody is I discovered who I'm supposed to be. So it gave me the opportunity, I suppose, by learning lifestyle tips, being motivated, inspired by Emma every day, I don't know, I just felt this inner
Zest.
Zest, yeah. But I always say that I'm oozing with love, I'm oozing with happiness. Not every single day, 99% of the time this is. And I felt like I understood my body for the first time. And a lot of time people think you get to 40, because I'm now 46, I think. You get to sort of 40 and you think you've had your best life. Well, actually, I've got to 46 and I'm now having my best life. I'm perimenopausal. I didn't realise I was perimenopausal at the time I was writing to Emma, but because you become so in tune with your body, with the education that Emma gives you, and the inspiration and the motivation to say, and because you're fueling properly, you're moving in ways that I didn't know my body could. I never exercised. I now do 8 classes a week. 8 classes a week. I can't get enough. I'm full of energy. I'm full of excitement all the time.
I'm full of health. I think,
yeah,
because our kids are full of germs, and we don't seem to.
No.
And I'm not saying that's what it's all about, but ultimately immunity and our health and being able to stay resilient, particularly as a woman with careers, jobs, families, potentially caring for someone else, potentially you are a carer, you've got so much going on, it's kind of peak time. We've got to stay strong, we've got different hats to wear, plates to juggle, and it can feel a really odd time and a scary time actually, if you're used to feeling utterly in control, if you're used to feeling very in charge of and capable, and then all of a sudden the perimenopause can knock you sideways and you feel out of sorts and you're not sure why, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's just little things, and you put it down to, oh, I'm just, I'm not getting enough sleep. Oh, I've got stress in my life. Oh, it's this, it's that. But actually, it can be more than that. And there are 57 perimenopausal symptoms, from the very little things to the bigger things, and you might get some, all or nothing of them. But I think that I'll let you carry on, but as to how you felt and what it did and what you achieved in that time outside of the weight loss, really.
Yeah, I mean, because I felt I was thriving. So during 2019, Emma and I started to collaborate in my other role in the past. So in a retail business, I was the marketing, so we started to collaborate and realised we work really well together in this collaboration. But during that time, I could feel I was thriving in things. So I ended up having skiing lessons, wakeboarding lessons. I trekked the Sahara Desert, 50 kilometres for St. Luke's. And me and 3 colleagues raised over £11,000 for them. So that was by the October, and it was and I climbed Snowdon. It was all things that I thought were never possible, and that I'd got to 40.
Got in a suit to go-karting.
Yeah, so there were all things like wherever I turned up anywhere, because I've always struggled with my weight, whenever I turned up anywhere, I'd go paintballing, I'd go go-karting, I'd always want to try these things. But you stood in the queue and they give out the suits, and I knew I was going to be given the extra large or the extra large, and it would always be like so long and everything, but I'd only just squeeze into it, and it was always that feeling of embarrassment, and I hated that. And I remember I went go-karting, must have been late last year, no, well, a year before. I went go-karting, and I just texted Emma and said, I've just been given, was it a small?
Yeah.
I can't even believe it now. I've just been given a small
and a wetsuit.
Oh yeah, and I've got in a wetsuit. Yeah, all those. So it's all those sorts of things that obviously you feel like you're peeking out. And I'm never going to be like a stick or really skinny or anything. But we're having this conversation today. The way I feel, I just is that zest for life is, and anything is possible is how you feel. And I think that's through that I thrive through it, and so I frightened Emma to death. Sort of like in the summer of 2019, when I went, I said to Emma, I just believe in what you've created and what you do, and I want other people to feel as amazing as I've realised you can feel in midlife, and can I possibly help you? I'll leave my job, and can I come and work with you and find ways in which we can get in touch with more women and make them feel as fab as you're making everybody else on this programme at the minute feel.
Which was hugely flattering and
slightly intimidating.
Hugely scary because during the 6 months prior to that, when we collaborated on a couple of things, we've become friends. And I have always been a big believer that, friendship and business, it doesn't really mix. And I'm also not business minded like that. I'm not cutthroat enough. I'm not cold. I'm not, I don't like the hard conversations, or I don't like the serious conversation on that side of things. So we spent the summer and that winter just basically just ignoring the fact that it had been mentioned again. Let's talk about it again when we feel ready. And then we did, and it just seemed, we just said, look, if it affects our friendship, we'll call it a day. But obviously it clearly hasn't. In fact, we were talking, well, I think everybody talks about, the current climate and how crazy it is, and how much impact it has on people with the way that COVID has been, and etc. And I think we both feel utterly lucky and grateful that we've maintained such happiness in the main. A couple of things. One, because of how we know how to manage our hormones, how to manage our bodies, how to eat well, how to so that those aren't compounded. But secondly, because we are able to, I guess, all the things that I do every day, what you hear and what you say, and if you're around like-minded people, it rubs off on you. And I think that even when I'm talking about all things to do with health and nutrition on my daily vlogs, because it's about sharing what I know, so that everyone else has their knowledge, and they're empowered then to make informed decisions for the life they want. The last thing I want, well, I think most women have probably been on some kind of diet or wanted to lose weight for an event, or to look good in that particular outfit, whether or not you've got weight issues or not. And even if you've not got weight issues, you always want to look your best and feel your best and be confident and self-assured, and all of those things can get a bit squashed, I think, a little bit. And so the fact that I'm talking it, I hear it, I believe it, I say it kind of sets me up for the day, and I'm told that it really helps others to not feel so alone, but also it's a safe haven where you can be who you want to be. You don't have to be the manager of a business. You don't have to be the mum. You don't have to be the grandma. You don't have to be the person that is supposed to hold everybody else together. You can be you, and I'm there to bolster you and to help you. And so I think that's where it comes. But you say and do things in the group that perhaps you wouldn't share with your nearest and dearest. So I think the feeling of feeling alone, I think last year when everybody was feeling awful, that first lockdown, because we hadn't experienced it before, we've experienced it now. So we're kind of a bit more
resilient
for it, I suppose. But that first lockdown, nobody knew what was going on, and I think that because we had, or when if people were on My Time for Change, they felt it's the one thing that we can control. We can control and take charge of our health and well-being every single day, and it should be right up there on the top of our priority list, because it's the one thing that we need to rely on in order for us to handle the stress, handle the curveballs, handle the life laundry. They're never going to go away, but at the same time, be able to enjoy every celebration, every holiday, every Christmas, and not be thinking, is it good? Is it bad? Is it naughty? Is it sins this and shake that? In fact, there's nothing but real food in what I do. There's no gimmicks. I don't sell anything.
I think the key thing to it all, it's all about lifestyle tweaks and lifestyle tips and hacks that help you live the life that you love, which is what you'll always say. You want people to live the life that they love, but by changing your mindset things, which is what you help inspire and educate, and just by being in a motivational and a group and being in a community of people that are like-minded, you're able to manage your mindset, and therefore the lifestyle tweaks that you make help you thrive, and they help you through situations. So where I'm not saying I don't, but occasionally I still do. But in the past, I would always bury myself in lots of sugary foods, and bury myself in sweets and chocolates and crisps and things if I didn't know how to deal with situations. That was my solution. Whereas what Emma's helped to educate and do is that there are other ways of managing how you feel about a situation, and you don't always need the crisp and chocolate, but she'd never say don't have the crisp and chocolate, because she likes the crisp and chocolate too. But it is about learning how to manage your mindset and it becoming your lifestyle, as opposed to feeling like you're on a diet. Because I hate dieting. I hate the concept of fat clubs. It just sends me in the other direction, and I just want to go, well, I don't like that, so I'm going to go to the chip shop on my way home and and stand on the scales in a slightly different way and all that business. And none of it is about scale weight. Everything is about how you feel, and that's why I'm no longer obsessed by exactly how I look, because I'm managing my hormones by how Emma educates you with the sorts of foods and things to help manage my hormones, and I can recognize now when things are getting, my cycle, and that when maybe my estrogen is dropping, and I can recognize that, so I can warn my husband Phil that that's happening, and I might be a bit cry or a bit shouty that day, but you're so in tune with yourself, you're sort of able to prepare of how it's going.
And I think that's probably why we work well together, because there are times when we're both coming up for the the late 40s. And there are days where we've got jobs to do that we'll be happy to do one day, and then the next week it's like, this isn't a great day to be doing this. I can't handle this today. So can we leave it? Because I'm either going to pack my job in or just sit here in a blubbering wreck, rocking and crying, because it's not the right day for me to do. So it's about recognizing when that's happening, and you choose to go, why beat yourself up? Because if you do a bad job, you'll feel like shit, you'll feel guilty, and then you're back to beating yourself up, because nobody wants to fail at anything, and there's no pass or fail when it comes to health and fitness. There's no rush or race. You can't chase it. There's no goal that can really be met. You're forever work in progress. You're forever striving for improvements, and there's always something to work on, and it doesn't have to be, well, I hate the scales anyway. They're irrelevant. They are completely irrelevant. But working on, reducing your blood pressure and stopping yourself being, or reversing type 2 diabetes, which has happened twice now on the program with people. They're real. They're absolutely, people's have stopped. Their hernias have gone away. Their migraines have gone. Their antidepressants they've stopped taking antidepressants. They're real life things. They're sleeping better. They've suddenly want to do things that they stopped wanting to do or felt they couldn't do. So yeah, I don't know whether or not it's worthwhile. I don't know. Linda, do you want to say anything as somebody who's on the program, or do you feel that we've kind of summed it up, or is there anything that you've realized or achieved or you want to share or not? I can take you off mute if you do. Yeah, okay. Let me take you off mute then first, Linda. Don't speak yet. You need to be off mute. You need to unmute yourself. Can you do that?
Sorry, that was well, basically, this is the best thing I've ever done. I can honestly say that because, you know, I've just hit 60 in October. I've never been extremely overweight, but, you know, always sort of the latter years, I've found I've put weight on, but that's through, I think, since hitting menopause at 55. I'm having a pretty shit time of it, to be honest, because I suffered with AF. So I had to go into hospital quite a few times. And then I had to have an ablation. And so I was quite poorly for a couple of years, plus the menopause. And the menopause, I was told, had caused this AF. And then sort of last year, the beginning of last year, the lockdown and everything, I was quite poorly again. And it was my gallbladder. And I thought, well, I don't eat fatty foods and I don't do this, but apparently again menopause can cause this. So I've been incredibly unlucky, but I've not had the energy to do anything about it. I've sort of let myself go, tried to exercise, but my energy levels have been nil. I've been depressed, you know, and very down. I've got 3 beautiful granddaughters that I felt lackluster, I couldn't do anything with, and I felt my life was just going, you know, and I've been on HRT now a couple of years, and it has helped me. Still, you know, get the odd thing, and, you know, like I explained to you the other day, I've suffered with tinnitus, but I'm managing it, you know, and I'm feeling so much better. But since entering this program sort of less than 2 weeks ago, it's really made sense, the way you explain things, the daily chats. Things have started to fall into place. And I thought, for God's sake, I'm 60 and this is just happening now. And my husband has seen a change in me because, you know, up to 2-3 weeks ago, I was just crying, I was depressed, I was on the phone to the doctor and, you know, saying, what else can I do? And but, you know, since I've been on this program in such a small time, I am watching what I'm eating. I haven't had a crisp since I've been on this program. I've not wanted a crisp.
Not because I don't say, yeah, not because you don't want one. Because you don't want one.
I just don't feel the need, because I would say it's emotional eating with me. It would be, say if my husband went out, if my husband went out for a walk, I'd go and have a packet of crisps because I was on my own. I didn't have to justify to him why I'm having not that he ever says, why are you having those crisps? No. But it was that guilt of knowing I don't really need these crisps. Why am I eating these crisps? Or, you know, anything snacky. And I'd have a full meal, but I'd still have a bag of crisps afterwards. It was like a vicious circle. And I can honestly say, since, you know, being on this program, it's changed my outlook on food completely.
And that is ultimately it. I don't deny anything, I don't ban anything.
No. And that's what's nice.
Yeah, and there isn't a diet, nothing is restricted. But you the way that you eat, the types of things that you are eating kind of help you manage your hormones, so you don't get those urges to want to have those types of food for the wrong reasons. It's almost like when you have them, you've chosen to have them and you thoroughly enjoy them. End of story. You've chosen to have your crisps, you've chosen to have your glass of wine, you've chosen to have your chocolates, you've chosen to have your 3-course meal, you've chosen to have whatever, but you've chosen them not because you're feeling miserable, not because or or maybe you said, yeah, actually, I've had a really shit, I'm going to eat those, never mind.
Yeah, I deserve a treat.
Yeah. And so it's not about food as reward, and it's not about exercise as punishment, for sure. But do you know what? I had no idea that you felt that way in this short period of time, and it's just, that's thrilling, because that's nothing to do with your weight. That's life-changing feelings that will alter relationships in your household, that will alter how you feel about what you then want to do, and that you know that menopause doesn't have to be a misery. Yes, some women get dealt a really awful hand, and it can be worse than others, but you can come out the other side, and you will come out the other side. And it's knowing that when you do, and when that you've got a body and a mind that still feels like you're 35, and there's there's no reason why that can't happen. Age is but a number. You might do things at a slower pace, you might do something different, but it's about, it's not letting that stop.
Yeah, I think what it is, you lose yourself, and you don't feel sexy anymore, you don't want to go out anymore, and you don't want to have a conversation with anybody, and you become very insular, and and lose your confidence. And it's such a,
you lose yourself in all your roles in life, though, don't you, as a woman?
Yes, because you've got the empty nest. Because all my children are left years ago, but you see them doing things and you don't feel as needed.
Yes, sorry, Carol.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave you. Our tea is just ready.
Enjoy.
I will try.
Thanks, Carol. Thanks for being
nice to meet you.
Thank you.
And you as
well.
Bye. Enjoy your tea.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye. I'd like Carol's staff. We'll all go to Carol's house to live, where you served.
I'll shut it off.
On the bottom right.
I'll just put the lid down. Bye.
Bye. Can we still hear you though? Can we? I don't know whether I can. I don't think I can. Can I? I've never removed. Oh, I can remove. Oh, I've never removed anybody from a Zoom room. Do you know? And everybody's experience is different. Everybody joins and comes for a very different reason. Everybody's are a different age. Normally it's from about 35, but I would say the average is probably between 42 and 62. But I've got a couple of exceptions that have been there for a couple of 18 months now, that are 70 and 72.
And the key phrase that they always say, they wish they'd known about this in their 40s. They wish they'd known about
Definitely.
it.
And the girls that are in their 30s, the late 30s,
you're jealous of them because they already know. You're like, you've got all this, you know this now. It's exciting.
They know it now, so they're ready for it. And look, do you know what? Some people sail through. Absolutely sail through, and so it's not all about the menopause and the perimenopause. So you can sail through that maybe, but it's still about being able to feel healthy, and it's not because plenty of people look super slim, but actually have a lot of things that are going wrong with them. It's actually harder for those people, because what do you put it down to then? To look at them, what does a GP do with them? Because they, at least if somebody's presenting themselves as they don't look like they move well, and they look like they could be, I can go down the BMI route because there's a science and a chart. BMI is also relevant, but at least because they can't tell you you're fat, but they can use that to say you would benefit, your health would benefit if you tried to reduce your BMI. But sadly, all that happens is that things get stripped out of people's diets, that things get stripped, and yes, scale weight might plummet, but actually that's not affected their muscle mass, their metabolism, their health markers, how their body functions, everything. And this is about all your major systems respiratory, lymphatic, gastro, all those systems working the best they possibly can. So it is about gut health, it is about brain function, and all of the things that we put in affect that. And all of the things that we think, all of the things that we say, all of the things that we do, and movement. So movement, women particularly are, and it's been drummed into us for many years, you know, cardio, 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 cardio. That's not the answer to shape change. It's not the answer to weight loss. It's great to use in conjunction with, but the best form of movement that anybody can do, but women in particular, is resisted weight-lifted moves, to create as we get older, we're losing those hormones affect our bone health. So that's why the risk of osteoporosis is there. Estrogen is a protective hormone, and we're losing it, and that's nature's way. So we have to create great muscle mass, because that will give us our shape, and that will help us keep our metabolism up there, and will help us to get rid of sugars that we eat, so we reduce our risk of type 2 diabetes and all those, and keep us strong that we can move.
One of the most exciting things that I found out about, because like I say, I've gone from no exercising to exercising, was the fact that I was one of the classes that we do is kettle size, and do that 3 times a week, which is using the kettlebell and swinging away. But then you find out that even after you finish the class, that it's still working, and you're still burning fat, and so I'm just like, yeah, get in, can't get enough of this. This is going to keep burning fat. I'm sat at my desk and I'm still burning fat. Yes, I'll have some of that. Thank you very much.
But it's the little thing, and I think, you know, sorry, I think anything's still here, but it's the things that you want to be able to get on the floor and play with your children or your grandchildren. You want to be able to move freely without huffing and puffing, and not have the aches and pains, and you know, they're priceless in many ways, and we don't have to accept things just because we are of a certain age. We don't have to accept things just because your parents look like that. You don't have to accept things because your siblings are a certain shape, or they're this and they're the other, doesn't mean to say you have to be. We can change it. So I don't know whether that was
and it's all changed in a simple and efficient way. So the exercise is short and effective. It isn't hours needed in the gym. It's short, time efficient ways of moving that you can do at different levels. So, you know, when I first started Emma's program, I didn't, I think I took probably 2 months before I braved maybe looking at one of Emma's classes online. And then I eventually, I think by the January, braved coming to one of your classes when you used to be out in the real world. And he built it up gradually. But what we found was that the 10 minutes that as part of the program, the workout of the day, was such an effective way of starting to build your strength and then nothing else, your confidence in exercise. And I had why would I turn up at a gym when I was, you know, I had no body confidence whatsoever. So going into a gym was the most intimidating and horrendous thing ever. The most exciting thing of what's happened now with, you know, in a pandemic that is awful for in so many different ways, is that we've pivoted Emma Wilson Fitness to be online. So now it's accessible to everybody, and nobody has to fear going out into a place, what to wear, what to look like, etc. Because literally you're that big on the screen, no one else can see you, and they're more concerned about what they're doing. And you can work at your level without the intimidation of people watching you. Whereas you're still part of a community, but you're in the comfort of your own home without that fear. And I think that's been a massive sort of, you know, great thing, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I am a big fan of technique and working at your level. I was injured for 6 years, and it was horrific. And I had a horrible 6 years, and I was 5 or 6 stone heavier than I am now, because I suddenly stopped moving. I had a great appetite because I'd always been active. My appetite didn't change just because I'd stopped, but I was also a bit bitter, a bit resentful, a bit depressed. And it was easy to get to that place. And if you have been ill and it does affect you mentally, and mental well-being is they come hand in hand. You cannot separate the two. And so I like to think that My Time for Change joins the dots really between your mental well-being and your physical well-being, because you cannot have one without the other. You can't out train a bad diet, neither will you get a great body from just eating well. If it was as simple as that, it would be, it would be simple, wouldn't it? So, and it might have been dead simple in your 20s and your 30s. Maybe, it was a doddle, you kind of had your holiday, you put your weight on, you had your beer, you did that, the other, you came back home, you had a few days of being good, it was done. And you might might have gone for the odd run, or did a quick, step aerobics or jazzercise, or whatever was the bit of Rosemary Conley or whatever it was that was the rage. But no, it is about moving in a way that gives you functional movement and strength and shape that isn't going to, agitate joints and your body. And I think, Linda said it right before, is if you have been ill, then you are in that vicious circle, because quite rightly, you've been ill, you're tired, you haven't got the energy. And what do we do when people are poorly? We surround them with love. And what is that love? It's normally food and drink, because why wouldn't we? It's lovely. Nobody comes round with somebody who's ill and doesn't bring something lovely. You don't go round with a bag of kale and go, "Hope you get better soon." Don't think you'd be friends for long, would you? and that happens, and that's normal. But we can. It's really hard then, if you don't have the knowledge or somebody just giving you that kind of push, that love, that nurture. And it is about encouragement, nurture, guidance, support.
And that comes ultimately from you, but also from being within the group as well. Everybody's looking out for each other and wants to help each other, definitely.
I'll put you can unmute yourselves. I'm hoping, we've gone over time. It's now.
That's a surprise.
So feel free to ask anything. Oh, you're not on mute. You're off mute, Linda. You need to go put your glasses back on.
No, I could see it. I had to squint, but no, I just want to thank you, and I'm glad. I've been following you for a while.
Yes,
and and thinking about it, but I decided, no, now's the time.
It has to be.
And right. I am so glad that I have joined the group, because your talks every day help. Because Wednesday morning I woke up and I had a blip. I was in bed and I was thinking, I just don't feel like doing this today. But then I listened to you, because I'm not quite awake when you talk, so I listen catch up. And my whole persona changed. I thought, no, get yourself out of bed, go and do some exercise. And I must admit, I do your weight one of a night time while I'm waiting for my bath to fill. Good 10 minutes, and I just do my weights, and it's perfect, because it's at the perfect level. Get in the bath, and and I love it, and I've done it every single night, so I feel better for that. And I obviously need to
do my exercising your way, because that sounds really lovely.
Well, it is, because you're ready then just to soak in the bath, and it's great. But
you just yourself as doing no exercise, and all of a sudden you're doing 10 minutes every day.
Just building it up.
That's more than doubling what you did. That's like saying, I think I'll try a marathon tomorrow.
Not a Snickers.
I'm out walking every single day now with my husband, which he was going for walks on his own, but now we're having 1 to 2 hour walks a day. So we're having that quality time, and I think even he has noticed the difference in me just in this 2 weeks.
So fabulous.
So thank you very much.
Very well. And if anybody has any questions, Emma Wilson Fitness is my website. At Emma Wilson Fitness 1 is my Instagram. You can email me, phone me, get in touch.
Direct message on Facebook.
Yeah, direct message on Facebook. You'll find me in various places. My Time for Change has a website too, but Emma Wilson Fitness kind of takes you that way anyway. My fitness classes are online. I've got loads of free stuff every day too. And actually for the next, well, it started last week, the minute lockdown 3 started, I'm doing a live, just a couple of minutes, daily healthy habits. They're just little things that we probably know.
Just being mindful about those things that just keep you feeling healthy, and just take a step back and think about yourself just for a couple of minutes of every day.
Yeah, and we take a lot for granted, and the one thing we can't do is take our bodies for granted and our minds for granted. So we've got to look after them.
Very true.
And I'll help you.
She's good at that.
I'm finding that out.
So, Victoria, you're about to embark on the programme for next month. So I hope that hasn't completely put you off.
No, it's encouraged me actually, because I'm mid-40s. Well, yeah, I'm mid-40s. So I'm on the I'm not at the middle point yet. Not yet. So I'm quite conscious that I'm sure that I'm possibly starting to go through parts of the menopause, but the doctors keep saying I'm not because I'm way too young. But you know, you think I'm convinced, because my mum was early 40s, and you know, when you just think
it will naturally follow suit. It will depend on when you started your period. It's the perimenopause can last 10 years.
Yeah.
There is no age to start the perimenopause, as in there's no, it can start at any time. But yeah, you will often get fobbed off initially. But what's great is that you'll get to learn all about this, and when you can go to your GP, because I would encourage you to, when people feel this way, the GPs have a place, and there is a place for HRT and all of that. But when you have been looking after your body, and you know your body, and you're your own detective, and you can go to them and say, well, I know this and I'm doing this, and you go armed with information and knowledge, it puts you in that feeling of power that you can almost tell them what you want to happen. And you will probably benefit immensely.
Because unfortunately, a lot of doctors are not educated on menopause. They haven't got a clue, and they'll just willingly just put you on anything. You have got to go.
And I follow. By the way.
Sorry.
This is my chat in the morning, by the way.
But I would advise anyone to look at Dr. Louise Newson.
Brilliant.
She's absolutely fantastic.
Wonderful.
You know, she's fighting the cause.
She's somebody I follow. I listen to her forums. In fact, I listened to a webinar early part of last lockdown. I was in the garden. It was sunny, so it must have been April, May time. About it was about the perimenopause. She's amazing, and about COVID and immunity, and why it was potentially hitting women at 55 harder. COVID, that is. And it was fascinating, the links between all that. But yeah, I thoroughly agree with you, Linda. She's brilliant, Louise.
Yeah.
Right, I shall unrecord us. Thank you very much. And any questions, please get in touch.